Ladies and gentlemen, to another open house interview, and today we've got the Golden Gavel 2010 winner, Mr. Nick Baranikow. Welcome, Nick.
Go Knox, how we go?
How are you?
Excellent, very good, thank you.
Good. Why real estate?
Yeah, no, I came out of high school, went into dentistry, just wrong career choice. I got through pretty easily. Had no idea what I wanted to do, just sounded good, the money was good, etc, etc, but look, I set up my own practice, ran that for a couple of years, but quickly worked out I wasn't going to do that till I'm 65, so had to find something else, and found my way into real estate, which has been terrific.
Yeah, what did bring you to real estate?
I actually, when I decided to leave dentistry, I actually went and had some aptitude testing and psych testing done, which back in 1982 or 3 was pretty much cutting edge back then, because I didn't want to make 2 mistakes in a row, and it told me what I probably had a sense of, that I was suited to business, sales, marketing, that sort of field, and real estate seemed to have ticks on all the boxes.
Yeah, you're really interesting, the way that you've sort of taken to real estate. You've been using a database type methodology for a long time, and talk about cutting edge. I remember doing some work with you, and it must be getting on for 15-20 years ago, and you're using databases. Yeah. So most of us were getting listings through our social networks or whatever, and you were very diligent. Yeah. So you've always worked to procedures. Your marketing has always been outstanding. The work that you've done with Estelle and Brock Harcourts has been outstanding, and your people skills. So if you combine, being fairly methodical, really good marketing and people skills, it's no wonder you've been successful. Is that a fair call?
Yeah, look, it seems to work pretty well, though. We're certainly very, for myself and for our business, we are very strong on attention to detail. I mean, nothing we do is ad hoc. Everything's about a process, it's planned, it's systemised, nothing gets through the cracks. That reflects then on your consistency of customer service. I think you have to have people skills. That doesn't mean you have to be a slap on the back or anything like that, but you just have to be able to relate to a broad cross-section of people and understand where they're coming from and try and tailor what you do to what they want.
Okay, now you've also run a really successful independent business. So purely independent, weren't part of a brand, had to market yourself, and now you're our number 2 behind Dave Braunack, who sells a lot of vineyards, so it's almost not fair. But anyway, you're our number 2 out of our whole group, and running your own business under our umbrella. What's the main differences between independent and being part of a group?
Yeah, we've run our own business since 1996, so basically 15 years. Initially started actually as an LJ Hooker business back then. LJ Hooker Terrace Gardens, ran that for 6 years, and that was good for us. So we got our sort of grounding in running a business there. Then we decided to go independent as Adelaide Living, ran that for 5 years. Great experience in learning how to build a business from ground zero, websites, marketing, branding. Really gained a better appreciation and if you like, of the importance of a brand, a strong brand. But challenge we found with Adelaide Living, which like a lot of companies, and you see it nowadays, is that we got to the point where we were too big to be small and too small to be big. And I was spending just so much of my time just trying to operate the infrastructure behind the scenes. So yourself and Gary Rustling were obviously instrumental in swaying us across to Brock Harcourts about 4 years ago, and that's been fantastic because now we've got the benefit of that major brand, the technology, training, etc, behind us, so we can really just focus on the core stuff, which is marketing, listing and selling real estate.
You went over to Christchurch with us, you and your beautiful wife Anne-Marie, and had a look at the Christchurch model. Thankfully, and I hope everybody's still well, we understand from the earthquake over there that nobody's hurt, but an enormous amount of damage. But prior to that, we got a really good feel as to how that real estate works over there, the way that they share listings, the way they work as a team. What was your feeling about the Harcourts group, actually seeing where the brand began?
Oh, look, quite phenomenal over there, as you know. I mean, the guys over there got 60% market share, which commercially is almost unheard of anywhere in the world. So fascinating to see it. Really, how they built that is, and they didn't start at 60% clearly, but there's been a number of things. One is they worked as a coordinated group, so whilst they're individual owners and there's some healthy competition at times between them, they also worked out a plan, a structure, a strategy whereby they virtually all rode in the same direction at the same time, using the state magazine, having, I suppose, what you call open listings, meaning that whoever listed it was a lead agent, but all the people in that group could submit it for sale to it, and then really just good marketing, good practice from there and build it up. So fantastic.
So our market share is hovering around the 15 to sometimes we sneak up towards 20%. So if we all start working a little bit better together, I've got no doubt we can do a little bit better. Now, Nick, auctioning is a passion of yours.
Yes.
Something over the years you've become extraordinarily good at.
Thank you.
In fact, my man, have a look at this sucker. Now, can you have a look at that?
That's almost as good as your footy trade.
The Golden Gavel winner for 2010, congratulations.
That's it.
That is the absolute pinnacle of auctioneering in South Australia.
Yep.
I've got to ask you, to me, apart from when you've had a red wine or two, you're a fairly conservative young man,
Yeah.
a real gentleman, and usually auctioneers are more flamboyant and sort of out there.
Yeah.
What got you into auctioneering?
Professionally, I think for me it was important. Initially, as a salesperson, becoming a good auctioneer was important because it gave me a even better authority and standing in the marketplace.
Sure.
And I think the combination of saying that I'm not just your agent, but I'm also your auctioneer, there's no question there's a tangible advantage in that, and clients see that way. I'm certainly not what you might have thought as the archetypal auctioneer, given the ones in the past. But I think there's a change in the style and tone of auctioneers nowadays. I think it's, and my style is just I suppose I call it a natural, relaxed style.
Sure.
You can amp the energy up at the appropriate times, but there's nothing sort of gushy or verbose about it, I suppose. So, that's the style we have, and people seem to relate pretty well to it.
What I relate to your style, Nick, is that you've always been super transparent. You've always known exactly where you're at in the auction. You've always been, I think transparent is probably the best word, but I've loved your relaxed style. It's always been Nick Baranikow coming through, just performing our transaction in front of a crowd. That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
There's Australasian Championships next week over in New Zealand, Auckland.
Yes.
How have you been preparing, and are we a touch nervous?
A little bit of preparation. I must admit, I'm not nervous, which is surprisingly good. That could change dramatically
over the next couple of days.
But I haven't had too much time to prepare. I've done some basic preparation. We've just been going like a scalded cat with business this month and last month.
Yeah.
But no, the framework's in place, and I think that's the good thing. Is I think once you get to this level, you effectively have a framework, a template, and then you can simply then customise it for each property, whether that's a real auction or a competition. So, and I'm looking forward to get in there with all the top guys from around Australia and New Zealand, so we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, look, I've got a sneaky suspicion you are going to win that, Nicholas, and even if you don't, mate, it'll be a magnificent experience. I'm heading over with Brocky and Greg Troughton from the CEO to be in the stand barracking for you, mate. We all wish you all the very, very best, but we've got a little thing appearing in the paper as well, just to say from all of South Australia, congratulations and good luck.
No, that's fantastic. I haven't checked the TAB to see what the odds are.
Brocky probably has, you can ask him. I just want to finish with, and again, knowing you for a while, the thing that I just love about the way you've attacked real estate is you've always maintained a time management to die for. So you've always had some good holiday time. Your family, Anne-Marie and your two children, have always been really, really important to you. And the balance between all of those areas, you've always, found time for a game of golf and, but then worked really, really hard as well. How have you maintained that time management, and how important has it been to stay, right in the top couple of percent of real estate agents in South Australia for so long, having that, varied time management?
Yeah, look, I think in all business, whether it's what I do, what you do, any people in any professional field, time management's it's always been important, becoming even more critical now because the demands on everyone. But equally, I think there's certainly a sense in the community about that work-life balance. That's becoming stronger too, because I think we all want to do really well at what we do, but there's no point in doing that if you can't enjoy your family and your hobbies and interests and all that type of thing, and friends as well.
Absolutely.
So I think for me and our team here, we're very conscious of working what we call efficiently and effectively. I think it's easy in real estate to feel like you're busy or fluff around a fair bit, but if you actually sat back and dissected how much you actually did in a certain time, it probably is nowhere near.
No.
So my position is we're at work or at business, it's intense, it's full on. But when the job's done, then we close down and enjoy ourselves after that. And that part of that's just having a regular weekly schedule where you have good time off. It's golf, riding the bike, running miles and miles like you do, whatever it might be. And look, reality is, if you want to be in real estate long term, if you want longevity, you've got to find that right time management and structure, because if not, your partner will tear strips off you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for talking to us on Open House.
My pleasure.
All the very best for the Australasian. We'll be certainly barracking for you. But more importantly, thank you very much for being such an integral part of our group in Brock Harcourts, and may your success continue for as long as you wish.
Excellent.
Thank you
very much.